Hello, everybody. My name is Bennet Tchaikovsky, and welcome to transferring to UC Santa Barbara as an economics and accounting major from a California community college. My disclaimer and copyright notice: the information and opinions in this presentation are those of the author only and not the author's employers or affiliated organizations, including, but not limited to, Irvine Valley College and the South Orange County Community College District. The presentation is for educational purposes only and does not constitute any legal or accounting advice whatsoever. This presentation is copyright 2023 by Bennet Tchaikovsky. All rights are reserved. Any distribution is strictly prohibited. So we're going to talk today about transferring to UC Santa Barbara. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is that I am a gaucho. Yes, I graduated there in 91, not 1891, but 1991. I was a business economics major. I never did an emphasis in accounting. It used to be business economics with an emphasis in accounting, but I took a full year of intermediate, 2 quarters of tax, audit, business law for accountants, a lot of other stuff too. But the accounting department that was there, and as of my instructors right now, the last one standing appears to be Kobe Harmon and maybe perhaps Don Loster. The foundation they gave me for teaching accounting is something I will be grateful to those instructors for forever, especially to Henry Sander. If you're out there and you're watching this, dude, you are awesome. And I just can't tell you how much my students appreciate how much I torture them academically. And it's because of the way that you taught me. And I think this group of faculty taught me using problem-based questions, and that is the way to teach accounting. There's no other way to do it. So I'm forever grateful to UCSB for what they've given me. Now, let's kind of talk about also Isla Vista, right? So what's great about UCSB is you don't really need to have a car, or you can have a car, but it's kind of like parking it. You probably want to get a junker, because around those streets, it's kind of like a little bit dicey. But in Isla Vista, there is a party every night. That's even true, I think, at UC Merced. Very robust campus life. You get to ride your bike to class. It's an amazing time. And what's kind of interesting about Isla Vista is you have a lot of Santa Barbara City College students. They live in Isla Vista. I've known of people, though, who have gone up to Santa Barbara City College. They live in Isla Vista, and it usually doesn't go well because it's Santa Barbara City College. We're required at any city college or community college, we are required to take attendance. And so if someone's partying all night in Isla Vista and they have to go to class the next day, that usually doesn't work out too well. However, I have heard like one roommate of 7 of City College students who made it through. So it is possible. But again, the campus life that's in Ivy, the party every night, is kind of hard to pass up. Now, let's get into the other of why we're here. Like, instead of talking about how awesome UCSB is, why is there only economics and accounting? And for example, at UCLA, you study business economics. Well, the UCs are research institutions. They don't believe in things like business administration unless it's like UCI, BizAdmin, Haas, which is that special school in Berkeley. Both of these programs are getting extremely difficult to get into. If you're planning on going to one of these schools, you really need to talk to a counselor and talk to students who have transferred there, because it is extremely challenging. But what the UCs basically do, they just call it economics. And as an accounting major, that's fine, because honestly, all the accounting firms recruit from UC Santa Barbara and UCLA. And why do they do that? Well, getting into economics and accounting, if you can survive it, it's like, oh my God, you have to have some really good grades to get into UC Santa Barbara. I always joke that I never would be able to get in with today's standards, but I somehow got through it. Also, too, the stress of the quarter system, like those 10-week intervals, it's like, it kind of reminds me a lot of public accounting, like a lot of basically like you're getting so used to deadlines. And also, who would not want to recruit at UC Santa Barbara, right? You get to drive up the coast as long as there's not a lot of traffic. It's absolutely amazing. So sign me up for that one to recruit up at UCSB. I would love to go up there for a recruiting event. So if you go to UCSB, you're not going to be in the major. Now, this is something that's really important to remember. When you go to Haas or you go to UCI as biz admin, you're in the major, right? However, at UCLA and UC Santa Barbara, and I think UC San Diego, I'd have to check, but let's talk about UCLA and UCSB. To get into UCLA as a business economics major and also UCSB is you're not in the major yet. You're basically a pre-major. Why is that? You have to go through and take Econ 5 and Econ 10A. Now, how did I find out this information? Well, there's this website that is pretty amazing. It is called Assist. If I come over here and I say that I am at the very amazing Irvine Valley College, and I'm going to University of California at Santa Barbara, and I go here to view agreements. So this is assist.org. And I come over here and I scroll down to UCSB from Irvine Valley. I come over here to economics and accounting. So let's take a look at this agreement. And if I look over here at this agreement, what it is going to go down here and say is that, oh, I have to take Econ 1, Econ 2. I have to take Math 3A, Math 3B, or they have this Math 11. I don't know. Math 3A, 3B at Irvine Valley is pretty brutal. My students are always like, I can't make any more jokes about that. In fact, I shouldn't even be mentioning that now because those classes are hard. But also you need to take Econ Accounting 1A. You don't need to take Accounting 1B. However, this is where it gets more interesting. You've got to take Econ 10A and Econ 5. And when you're going through and looking at this, you've got to have basically, upon completion of Econ 1, 2, 3A, 3B, and 10 with a GPA of 2.85 or above in those courses that are complete at the UC. Okay, so you're going to need to do Econ 5, which is basically, you're basically be the pre-economics and accounting. Basically, you're going to have to then go through and then do the Econ 10A and Econ 5 classes at UC Santa Barbara. So you have to take Econ 5 and 10A at UCSB. So obviously, you're going to get all your other stuff done. You want to talk to a counselor, but really look at Assist. That's probably the best way to go through and do it. UCLA has similar requirements that you are not in the business economics major. You're basically a pre-major. I would also talk to other students who have gone up there. Should I take it over summer? Should I not? But this, I would say, is really the major drawback to UC Santa Barbara. It is because if you go to Haas or University of California at Irvine as a business administration major, you're automatically in the major. One really important note: if you're going to UCI as a economics major, you will not be able to get, at least it was for this fall because of the number of students that accepted, it is highly impacted. So if you're trying to get accounting classes at UCI, a lot of students come to Irvine Valley to take classes. Now, let's talk a little bit about Econ 5 and 10A. Are these courses stressful? The answer is yes. They are extremely stressful. And it's because you need to get an average of a 2.85, meaning that a B minus and a B. So a B minus is 2.7, a B is a 3.0, averages out to a 2.85. So that's the lowest you can go. And also, I would say this too. When you go into Econ 10A and Econ 5, many students preceding you at UCSB have been weeded out, meaning they took Econ 1, Econ 2, 3A, 3B. And most of the 4-year schools have GPA requirements. Like at IBC, the students are going to get the grades that they earn However, what I would say is we have a lot of rigor. My students who leave from Irvine Valley do very well upon transfer. I don't really, so to me, it's like I have my material set at a certain level, but at UCSB, when you get to Econ 10A, you're in a class of students that are going to be pretty well prepared, and they've already been gone through this part over here. So you're going to be going up against the very best when you take Econ 5 and Econ 10A. Now they're stressful, but are they manageable? Sure. You need to work backwards, the success tips. I have many other videos about these, but you want to consider possibly taking these classes over summer, maybe get a tutor if you need to. But again, it's one of those things that if you apply yourself, you figure out the game. Usually the exams are going to be weighted as basically most of the classes, and just trying to figure out, like, perhaps like see if you can find if the instructor publishes practice exams, going through those, and there you go. But as we kind of go through and look at this, like, the school you should be going to is not, if you're going accounting, any like UCLA, UC Santa Barbara. I'm not as familiar with Davis. UC San Diego, not as familiar as far as the recruiting goes, but I'm sure it's fine. But when you kind of go through and look at it in terms of the rigor of these schools, like the major accounting firms recruit from UC Santa Barbara. And I would just tell you that if you go there as an economics and accounting major, that's awesome. And you can definitely get a job at a Big Four or another great accounting firm once you've gone through and have graduated. But this is the thing, is like, and again, you want to go to the school, and the transfer director, and I think he's still there at UCLA, is a gentleman by the name of Santiago Bernal. And he told me something once in front of my class, and this is 10 years ago, and I'll never forget it. He basically said, you know what? You have to choose the school that is best for you. It's not the name of the school, but the school where you're going to be the most socially involved, most actively involved. And if UCSB is that school, go to UCSB. I would, though, suggest, if you can, try to stay there as long as possible, not 7 years, maybe, a little bit more than 2, maybe 2 years and 2 quarters. Give yourself some time up there. It is really, truly an amazing experience to kind of go through and do. If you're economics and accounting, it's a great school. I'm biased, right? But again, it's really, if it's right for you. The only thing I would tell you about being business economics or economics and accounting are these pre-classes you need to go through and take as a transfer student. And even like, look, the regular students who are at UCSB, they have to do the same classes, right? So they have to basically get the same, they have to go through and do Econ 1, Econ 2, 3A, 3B. They're hard classes. So again, as a transfer student, you have to be very successful in these. So that's really what you have to consider as you're going as a transfer student to UC Santa Barbara. So hopefully this video was helpful. If there's any other videos you'd like to see about transferring, please feel free to leave a comment. I do want to thank all of the students who have kind of shared with me their transfer experiences. And I also do want to thank, it was the department head at UCSB, and I called her up one time and said, hey, because the transfer requirement used to just be Econ 10A. They changed it to be 2 classes instead of having 1. So my applause to the chair of economics at UCSB, and she had a conversation with me after I had a student who complained, and I called up. So she did follow up on her word, and it's awesome. So again, hopefully if you're going to be a future Gaucho, that's awesome. If not, there's a lot of other schools that are out there, but hopefully you enjoy this video, and I look forward to seeing you on future videos. Have a great day.